And after India Airy, let's listen to the words of Julia Cameron, which also speak about who and what we are. So, staying in that place of peace, and love, quiet, and groundedness. You may close your eyes and use your inner vision as you feel comfortable. I anticipate great good and open my heart to it. I am alert to new beginnings. I open my heart to bless the hello that comes to me uninvited and unexpected. I bring to my world a child's openness to new companions. I allow myself to be met. In the face of new beginnings, I practice curiosity and expansion. I embrace risk and I open to play. Mine is a festive heart. I do not allow old songs and old ideas to become the only melodies I will listen to. I practice a listening heart. I am attentive to the pipings of small adventures. Even in the face of haste, even in the light of past experience, I entertain optimism. One of my core abilities is optimistic spirit. I allow enthusiasm. I encourage care. My heart is resilient and expansive. I cherish all that I have and welcome my ability to care still further for all that yet is offered me. And I ponder this in the silence. I am a loving expression of the divine. At my core is optimistic spirit. I anticipate great good and open my heart to it. As you're ready, you can begin to come back into this time and space and wiggle fingers and toes. And welcome back. I told Richard this morning that this talk is a little different for me. As I put it together, I thought, man, this is all about me. kind of bearing my soul and going back to those days of confessionals. So I hope that what you get from my sharing today is one of the things is an understanding of the value of using self-reflection as a spiritual practice to build a more joyful, enriched life. We always got to look at who we are and what's going on with us. So this is where I started. The title, Finding a New Melody, just kind of came to my head when Reverend Donna and I were doing some planning. So it was only after that, when in Living a Life of Awareness by Don Miguel Jr., Finding a New Melody, okay? So here it goes. I should, well, he shouldn't, she shouldn't, and they shouldn't. Think about your set of attached beliefs, your shoulds and your shouldn'ts, as a unique melody repeating itself in your mind. Are you constantly trying to force your melody onto other people's melodies? Do you do this without even realizing it? In some cases, the melody you're playing doesn't even originate with you. And sometimes it's not even the one you want to be hearing. If you continue playing only what you know, you never open yourself to listen to other songs flowing around you. In this way, you're letting your attachment to your particular melody, that is your belief system, to control you. So this little meditation is an invitation for introspection and self-awareness. It's an invitation to examine our belief system. Reverend Anne Marie Acacio in Rise and Shine says, our belief system, our BS, houses both the fulfilling, endearing, nurturing remembrance of our life experiences, as well as the regrets, fears, disappointments, resentments, and so on. Whatever our conscious area of mind chooses to retain as a belief about ourselves and life is held in the subconscious area, the belief system. At a later time, our understanding of something we had believed was less than loving may be expanded to take a larger picture. You know, it's those times when in hindsight we see that really bad thing that happened to us was really the best, worst thing that ever happened to us. In my case, my business went south, and I experienced a lot of anger, blame. Somebody else, something else did this to me. I was in a great deal of pain and felt very much a victim. And I was questioning a lot. Although, I've got to say, during the very worst of it, at my core, I had faith that I would get through it. I just had no idea what it would look like and was so overwhelmed I couldn't even dream a dream, have a vision of what I wanted next. Within 6 months, exactly 6 months from the time I closed that business down, I met Dave Walthall. And a whole new, beautiful experience of life opened for me. My life experience, both before and after that time, supports my belief that the universe is a friendly place and all things do work together for good. So I'm hanging on to that belief. In another place, Ruiz Jr., in a discussion of becoming aware of your beliefs, how do we know what our beliefs are sometimes? I sit down, I have classes, discussions, and I try to look at, well, what do I believe? What do I believe about this? Well, Ruiz says, questioning ourselves and being open to changing our minds about something does not mean that we must question the core of our being. With self-confidence, we can simply question our beliefs and the stories we've created to describe our being. We become aware of a belief when we feel we need to defend it. He suggests a practice. My tongue is having a lot of trouble with my teeth today. So he suggests a practice of questioning. Where did I learn this belief? How is this belief affecting me? Am I using this belief well? Do I still need this belief? Then vow to release any belief that no longer serves you. You've heard me say before, Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck is a great proponent of questioning unquestioned answers. His motto for the new year is review and renew in 2022. I like it. It's catchy, and it's a reminder to me to keep questioning those unquestioned answers, what pops up, what I need to defend. So as I do review, as I reflect, I'm not so sure I want to find a new melody so much as refine and develop the song I'm singing now. I'm happy with the trajectory of my life. I love the choir I'm singing with, this spiritual community which nourishes my soul. So I think my first and our first task is to work on my relationship with myself, with a focus on self-awareness and self-care, both the little s self and the capital S self. Notice, am I treating myself with loving kindness? How am I taking care of my body temple? I got to tell you, I feel like that's been slipping lately. So I need to be thinking about my relationship with how I take care of myself. When I treat myself well, when I feel good about myself and who I came here to be, it shows. You see it. You feel it. And guess what? When I'm loving me, I'm loving you. And we all feel that grace. So I'm working on my relationship with myself when I engage in spiritual practices. Reading is one. I read a lot. I am a perpetual student in Earth School. And I question. And I ponder. And living alone, I do a lot of that in my head. So when I have an opportunity, I like to kind of let it out there. Okay. So I am developing a practice of questioning unquestioned answers. And that's another way of asking, does this belief still serve me? One question I ponder, and I need to put this out there. I figure if I'm thinking about these things, if they come into my head, there's somebody else in here who has some of the same questions. So here's the question I ponder. G-O-D. What does that mean to me? What do I see in my mind's eye? What is the vision I see when I say God? Well, I know God is not a being, but pure, total energy of all that is. God is beingness. God is isness. God is allness. God to me is also all sufficiency. But my embedded vision, get that, embedded vision from 6 years old, okay? When I hear or say that word, I still see that stern, white-bearded man in the sky. I search, I am on a constant search for the right word or name that I can apply to that energy, to the God of my understanding. And every one of us in here has a different perspective of the God of your understanding. So I also, other people got to do this too, I also question, could God be an entity? Some humongous power force out there in space controlling all those minute details of life? Well, I don't think so, but I'm not going all the way into that. I recently read another viewpoint of God from the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ by Levi. And that talks about primary substance. I like that name, primary substance, out of which all things are formed. That matter is spirit moving at a lower rate of vibration. Primary substance is of exquisite fineness and is so sensitive that the slightest vibrations of an ether any place in the universe registers an indelible impression upon it. That butterfly effect. Every person has its own distinct vibration. That's the way I see us. They go on to talk about the law of differentiation, and our goal as human is to come in rapport with the tones and rhythms of Jesus of Nazareth. I interpret that to mean resonating with the vibration of the ascended masters. I don't think it's just one, but I think it's those ascended masters who have reached a higher plateau on that spiraling scale. So what I get from this is we are each a vibration in wholeness, the allness. And we are on a spiraling, ascending path toward true resonance in the one rhythm. And I think we will all achieve that. I don't know, actually, when we think about that resonance, think about that blending. Haven't there been times in your life when you've had just a touch of that? You've had a glimpse into what that feels like. It's brief. And that happens when all is right and beautiful in your body, your heart, your mind, your soul. So, moving on to my reflections. Recently, I've been reevaluating my concept of balance. In my Master Consciousness group, I ask for balance in my life. You know how you feel like sometimes you just kind of get overwhelmed and you feel like you're out of control. So later, I had a discussion with my mentors, and I got a different viewpoint. In this world, in Earth School, this time of linear time and space, I saw balance as some sort of structured thing. You know, you got an hour over here for this, and you got 2 hours over there for that, and in this room you're going to do this, and in that room you're going to do something else. And I just started to tighten up with that sense of that controlled structure kind of thing. Seeing that as a way to map my life in those little blocks of activity. So I really don't like that kind of structure. I don't like that feeling of confinement. I don't want balance. I figured it out. I do not want balance. I want harmony. The ebb and flow of fulfilling activities, a rhythm of life. I want my vibration to harmonize in the flow of divine order. And I am getting it, that it is I who divinely order my life experiences by the choices I make, by the times I choose to change my perception, see things differently, then I can move in a different way. And aren't I glad I get to do the occasional do-over? Finally, and this is the confessional part. This is the bearing the soul part. Okay? I want to share my challenges with another of my regular spiritual practices, prayer. I know that is why my higher self guided me to the prayer team. And believe me, it was no easy job to get me here. I had my heels dug in for years saying, no, I don't feel called to prayer service. It's not my thing. I do classes, but I don't feel called to prayer service. For Pete's sake, unity is built on the practice and belief in prayer, and who am I to question? I have taken and even taught many classes on prayer and am very much looking forward to Reverend Linda Marcella Whitsitt's visit with us. I have experienced a couple of classes with her, and let me tell you, she is fantastic. You don't pick up the dynamism that this woman is on that screen. So I hope you'll come for her workshop on Saturday the 22nd, because that's where the real jewels will be. So prayer is both an intellectual and a heart experience for me. And here's the problem. Sometimes, I'm sure, when I'm doing an opening prayer here, you can feel that I have to call forth all the strength and the courage and the love and the faith that I can to make it happen. My problem is my intellect gets tangled up in my ego, and doubts creep in. I begin to question. Does it make a difference? Am I making a difference? Intellectually, there's all kinds of evidence documented that yes, prayer makes a difference. And it doesn't matter what style you're using. What matters is the intention and the love behind it. So, it's documented. Prayer works. And one of the things that makes Unity and New Thought different from traditional Christian churches is that we seek an experience of the divine. When we are praying affirmative, we are praying from our divine nature. We are not praying out there to something, some entity that's going to bring us ice cream or whatever. So we are, in Unity, we are mystics at heart. So when we pray, the idea is to drop the ego for a time and move into that heart feeling space and realize, that is, realize our true nature. Know that we know that we know, and claim our good using any of our 12 divine faculties and divine ideas. That's what I'm looking forward to, Linda Martella Whitsett, because she does that so beautifully, telling the whys, why this works, how those 12 powers come, how we use them in a practical way. Anyway, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to cast shadows on prayer as a practice. This is the one melody I do want to change. I've had some wonderful, beautiful, mystical experiences, and most profoundly when praying with others. And I want more of that. I want to change my prayer melody by raising it at least an octave this year. So I hope this has given you guys some ideas about pondering and reflecting and how life shows up for you and how you build your practices. And that's what I want to end with. This is Don Miguel Ruiz's practice at the end of Finding a New Melody. So the practice. With awareness, listen to other people's melodies today. Perhaps you'll learn something to contribute to them. At the very least, simply notice where the music takes you. By letting go of your attachment to what you think the melody should be, you open yourself to the potential to create a unique and beautiful composition of your own, or a collaboration that can be shared with others. I thank you all for your kind attention to my confessions. It's time now to bless our tithes, gifts, offerings. And we are so very grateful for all of those that come through our hands, from our hearts, from the internet, by pushing those PayPals and Breeze buttons. So, if you will affirm with me, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so.